Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the RISMedia Broker Webinar Series. We are so excited today. We have a fantastic lineup. We have a fantastic topic, and I'm Sherry Johnson, your moderator today from Sherry Johnson Coaching. Our topic today, avoiding the squeeze, how to stay profitable amidst shrinking margins. It's a very hot topic right now. We have fantastic panelists, and I just wanted to first mention, before we get started and folks are still logging on, please go into the questions. If you're tuning in, tell us where you're tuning in from, say hello, tell us what state and what part of the country you're tuning in to into us so we can, communicate with you, say hello. And again, you'll want to do that in the questions section of your control panel. Just under questions, say who you are, where you're calling in from. That would be awesome. And before I start let's see here, I'm trying to find there we go. Today's webinar is being sponsored by Zavvy, and we are so excited. If you've not gotten to know this company, you are going to want to. This very resourceful, very timely, and I'm going to let Stefan tell you about the company in a moment. We have, again, an awesome panel of broker owners and people that are really coming up with more resourceful ways to help add value to their agents amidst these challenging times we're having, where less transactions are creating less income. And so we are really forced to think outside the box, become more innovative, add more value to our agents. And we've just got a really fantastic lineup. Again, I'm Sherry Johnson, CEO and founder of Sherry Johnson Coaching, and I'm today's moderator and partner with RISMedia. Love doing these and just really enjoy being, adding value here where I can. And Delisa Rose from EXP, and this is Delisa is ambassador of real estate and broker owner of EXP. I'm going to have her introduce herself in a moment. Paul Wells, REMAX owner and broker owner of REMAX of Barrington, Illinois. Hi, Paul. Great to have you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, our sponsor today from Zavvy, co-founder and chief data officer, actually is the correct title, Stefan Peterson. Hi there. Good afternoon, Stefan.
Hey, Sherry. Hey, everybody.
Thank you so much for sponsoring today.
We are thrilled to do it, and it's great to be here.
Tell our listeners a little bit about your company and the amazing things that you're doing to help us.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, Zavvy, we are a tech company, and what we do, we provide a white label platform to about 180 brokerages around the country, about 80,000 agents using our platform across 45 states. And what our tech does, it enables brokers to connect their clients with all the new ways of selling and buying real estate that have emerged in the marketplace in the last few years. So we're talking about the power buyers, the iBuyers, other institutional buyers, listing concierge solutions, some home ownership accelerator companies, and home warranty. So there's a whole bunch of new entrants in the marketplace. And what I want to say about that, and the backstory on Zavvy, our program grew out of an established brokerage in Colorado. I was the COO there, and my co-founder at Zavvy is the broker owner at that shop. What we discovered a few years ago is that agents could complete more transactions by working with the iBuyers and other so-called disruptors. And this really changed our thinking about the role of these new participants in the marketplace. We realized there's an opportunity to get more transactions done and to be more successful as a brokerage. So we built Zavvy to help other brokerage leverage the same opportunity of working with the new solutions, again, the iBuyers and others, the power buyers. And it's been very gratifying, the response we found from brokers across the country. The bottom line really is these solutions can help brokerages deliver and monetize new ancillary services. That's the revenue opportunity here. I want to emphasize, we think you ought to be working with these companies the same way you work with your title company, your mortgage company, whether that's partnership, something you own, a JV, whatnot. It's all a new ancillary channel for you, and that's what Zavvy can help you do.
Outstanding. And we're going to actually stay on for throughout the rest of the webinar, we have an awesome giveaway from Savvy that'll be a complimentary gift at the end. Fantastic, and thank you again for being today's sponsor. Delisa, tell us a little bit about this, your company, the size and scope, how many agents do you have, where you're located, all that good stuff, and welcome.
You may have to turn that mute off. I'm in the Dallas, Texas area. I actually used to be a franchise owner with RE/MAX. Everybody knows RE/MAX, the big balloon. Been in business for about 25 years, but I transferred to EXP. So as being an agent with EXP, we do have ownership in the company. I don't own that full company, of course, but that's allowed me to expand to Colorado, Panama, Panama country, California, New York, Florida, and really throughout the country, and including 13 other countries. My organization direct is probably about 22. And then of course there's a line of agents under us with that. So.
Awesome. So how many are in your Dallas market?
The Dallas market, I don't separate Dallas from Houston, Beaumont, and Austin, but about 33.
Okay, awesome. And thank you for being here. In our pre-panel call, I just had I know you're adding a lot of value to today's call, just some of the things and what you're doing and how you're making a difference for agents. So I'm excited for our listeners to hear what you have to say. So thank you ahead of time. Paul Wells, good afternoon. Hi there.
Great afternoon.
Tell everybody about where you're out of and really the size scope of your company out of Illinois.
Okay, well, I'm out of the northwest suburbs of Illinois. We're in a higher end market. I've been doing this for about 35 years. I've got 32 agents. I'm past executive vice president of CDPE. I'm past chairman of the board of MRED, which is one of the larger MLSs in the United States. I was involved with the startup of both the Broker Public Portal and of HomeSnap. I think, just like Stefan, I think we're at a point where technology is driving our business more than we probably even realize it is. And as that drive continues, we also have to remember that it's still a business of relationships, both on the agent level and on the brokerage level. And I think that that's one of the things that's been my focus for the last year or two, especially with the pandemic coming into play. And now the rules are changing with the pandemic itself. So it's going to allow us to do things that we should have been doing a long time ago. And this is a perfect timing to have this session, I think.
Well, and I agree with you. And I think there are so many innovative ways that new technology can help our agents, help our company, help drive revenue for both our agents and all of you brokers who are out there sort of facing the now what do we do? So awesome. Well, thank you for sharing where you're from and what your companies look like. In a very sales-driven management focus, right? We are looking at adding real value to our agents. How can we help them, especially right now? Tell our listeners some of the things that you're doing from an education standpoint, maybe technology tools that you're incorporating. What are the things you're doing that you're delivering high energy sales meetings, you're delivering high energy, perhaps training in your offices? Tell us a little bit about what you do. And you know what, I'll start, Delisa, I'll start with you on this one.
Thanks. I think there's so much that we have to offer, but one thing is I've just opened up all of the resources to the agents, and we operate as if we're just one big team. Not where I'm the broker and they're the agents, or I'm the team lead and they're the agents, but really just one big team. We do have weekly meetings, of course, high level. We have a book club that's going on, and I'm really holding them accountable. We have accountability partners, but accountable to not the work and the productivity, just being productive and production, but holding them accountable to what their life goals are. Because I think you get to a certain point where we just get burnt out on production. And I was wondering, why is it that, you have 10 agents and 2 good ones, per se, good ones, right? And the rest of them are, you're saying the same thing over and over and teaching the same thing over and over, and they're not getting it. But what you find is everybody's not motivated by money. Everybody's not motivated by, the same things. And what we really need to do is figure out how do we get out of our own way, how do we help them develop great habits and the discipline. So I've changed from being focused on production and did you make your calls, to ways that can help them really just create the habits, create the discipline, holding each other accountable, and remembering what the life goals are, and why you're working for a life goal and not just working for productivity and numbers and sales.
Totally understand. Yeah. Somebody is, work-life balance is attainable and achievable in this business. I think sometimes we forget that it is, and it should be. And the money part of it, as you mentioned, is not always the driving factor. Fantastic. And Paul.
Well, I think the market again has changed, but the more it changes, the more we've got to go back and focus on fundamentals. One of the things we're establishing now, and we have been doing for years, is just to look back at history. I'm a firm believer that history is going to teach you more than anything can possibly teach you. And taking a look back at agents or at my production and my profit centers for the last 2 years is going to give me an idea about what direction I should head now. We recently had a series of meetings, and we're just jumping off of Zoom now and going back into in-person meetings, which is a welcome relief. But even those Zoom meetings, our focus is always, where is your business coming from? And where are you spending your money and time? And there's usually an incredible difference between those two answers, meaning that most agents are spending their money where they're not making money and they're not keeping an eye on their return on investments. What we're really finding is that, in fact, we just had a little survey the other day, and we just asked our agents quite simply during this meeting. We said, how many people have had a transaction so far this year? And there were in this room, there was 127 transactions that were represented. How many agents have had a transaction that was not a referral or past client? And it surprised me, but not one agent had a transaction that was not a past client or referral source. So then we started to talk about why is that? And what we felt was that the pandemic has actually strengthened relationships if you reach out for those relationships. A lot of people became paralyzed when the crap really hit the fan and everything got locked down. But the wiser agents realize that the connections you make along the way in any time are important. But when something that big comes down, people not only would like to talk to people, real estate became the hottest topic in everyone's dining room table. Right. And what we tell our agents is something quite simple. If you're not talking to your customers about real estate, someone else is. And that's a great way to lose business. Now, what we're also finding is our agents will not do what we don't do. So if I ask them to keep in touch with their clients, the best way I can help them do that is to keep in touch with them the same way. And it's kind of like a parent thing. You can tell your kids not to smoke, but if you're smoking, that plan ain't going to work. And if my agents know that I am calling them constantly, asking them how they're doing, and I'm not, I always ask my agents for referrals in terms of getting new agents, but that's not the reason for the call. It's what's going on, how you doing, how the kids doing, what can I do to help you? It's a nonstop dialogue of working with the people I like and trying to teach them that this really works. This concept of keeping in touch really works. And we're finding our agents are getting incredible returns right now just from those calls.
I want to echo that. First of all, you said, who has a listing or sale? Like, just asking, we can positively hold people accountable to the things they are trying to do without making accountability feel like it's a bad thing. And just saying, what are you working on? Who has a sale, whether it added on to the from not your sphere or not. But really, I say this phrase all the time. It's on a big, huge thing on my wall, and it says, the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. And it's like, we are the example. You're absolutely right, Paul. And we have to be showing them what they should be doing. And if we're leading by example, we're setting the tone and they're doing it. And I have another really horrible phrase, as you just said, if you don't own your market, somebody else will. If you're not talking to your sphere, somebody else is. And too many times I've heard stories recently of our coaching clients or people that I come in contact with who say, I was gonna call this client of mine, and before I could, they called me and said someone knocked on my door with an offer, and I just sold my house, and that agent is out of it. It's gone. There's no opportunity there. So opportunities aren't lost, everybody. They go to someone else. Somebody else is getting that business. And Stefan, your comments on this question, please.
Yeah, thanks. Definitely want to echo the sentiments from Delisa and Paul, and you as well, Sherry. I mean, we are all human beings in a relationship business first and foremost, and the tech comes second. And it's so important to keep that in mind. Having said that, I think when it comes to some of the new tech solutions that are out there that do a lot of direct to consumer marketing, the agent mindset becomes that these solutions, let's say, the power buyer companies that help you buy before you sell or make a cash offer without a loan contingency, or write an instant offer. Agents believe that these are direct to consumer solutions and there's no room for the agent to work with these companies. And that's just not correct. There's a massive opportunity for agents to bring the relationships that they have and to serve their clients by bringing this new innovation to their clients. And this, by the way, you go to this scenario where almost all the transactions agents are doing this year are coming from referrals. Another great way to shake that tree of clients who may be stuck is to bring them these solutions that they may not be aware of. And again, the point I really want to make is it's about the agent relationship, the agent representing their client, albeit in a slightly new way, because there is some new stuff in the marketplace today.
Excellent. Go ahead, Paul.
One of the things that's interesting, Stefan, is that we're looking at a point too where technology is allowing us as brokers to become a more valuable tool to our agents. And this is probably a bad way to put it, but if you're really trying to build for the future, you really need to build some golden handcuffs in your system. By that, I mean your agent's job, realistically, their highest and best use is listing and selling houses. That's it. The more you can take off their plate as a broker owner, the more valuable you become. And if you get really good at those systems, they're going to be hard to duplicate by anybody else at any given time. And that's going to be the biggest struggle, I think, in the very near future for offices. And that's just going to be pure retention. There's no doubt that we're going to start seeing, and we're already seeing on this end, incredible recruiting efforts going on by everyone. Everyone's trying to improve their profitability, and the easiest way is get some good agents. The best way to keep your agents is to have such incredible systems, specifically systems like Zavi sets up, so that it's automatic tools provided by the broker that are indispensable to the agent so that they can just list houses and sell houses and let everything else run automatically.
Amen. And when you add value and you can monetize the value you offer, the goods and services you provide and pay for and manage, that's all value add to an agent who's partnering with you. And that is I think what you're saying, Paul, is it's not transferable. You can't get that anywhere else. And I continue to look. I remember when I was a top agent in my company in Cleveland, Ohio, before I thought about leaving, I thought, I've got the owners here, I've got the managers, I've got this tech stack, I've got these tools I use that help me compete at a higher level. Great stuff. And I think you're right. The technology, if you build a technology platform as a broker and invest in that and make things easy, the only thing your agents have to do, I'm echoing Paul, is list and sell. They don't have to worry about reinventing every tool out there. And unfortunately, a lot of them think they have to. All right, so we have this term, I call it grow the middle. How do we, when I consult big companies and in my former job, growing the middle of increasing revenue, this is an opportunity for all brokers right now to get more people doing more. And when you look at the middle of your roster, we know that the top agents are going to continue to do what they do. They do that every year of life. We need to support them. Obviously, we need to provide them tools. but how can you grow that like quartile, 3 and 4, or the second half of quartile 2? And again, look at it from a perspective of maybe there's some more equitable splits with those folks. They're still in their trajectory mode of the more they make, and they're going up. We want them to make more. Obviously, we all make more together. But if we grow that middle and we get more people doing more, we've got more agents between 2 and 8 million producers. You will obviously, all that will drop to the bottom line. I mean, this is just, to me, the biggest place for an opportunity for all brokers listening to me to just say, oh my gosh, more people doing more makes sense. We're not looking at creating, 10 more top agents. I mean, that would be great. And of course you would all like that, but how are you all taking those mid-tier agents? Delisa, I know you do business planning with them. And I love what you had to say about that. Would you expand on, what you do with this group of people to help them increase their business and ultimately increase your business as well?
Absolutely. Even if we have great agents, without the regular agents, let's call them regular, great agents, they're still great professionals. They're there for a reason. They got their license. The office can't survive, on just the few great agents that you have. Those, everybody counts. And that 70% counts a lot. So the one-on-one training is definitely important, the business training, but really pulling out like what makes them tick. Everybody doesn't want to do production. And this is, I mean, it's crazy that it took me like 25 years to figure this part out, but I actually partner with the agents on other things that they want to do. Our group right now is buying a multifamily home. Other agents, one has a do-it-yourself talent, he's doing some stuff, there's other people that love transactions. Actual wealth is the division of labor. I mean, when you talk about wealth, it's the division of labor. And in normal worlds, you have all these people doing labor and a few people getting a lot of the wealth. Well, in the office, if you divide it and say, these are your talents, these are your strengths, and how can we come together and everybody make money? You have those people who are lead generation magnets and they generate, but they can't convert, and then the ones that convert, and then the others who love to show and love to just drop and go. And then you have others that are like, no, I don't want to go anywhere. So we literally have agents who just do showings and get a percentage. We have agents who are just generating and doing like calls, ISA calls, but really finding out where the strengths are for each person and what they enjoy. Because when people aren't happy or they're not finding enjoyment, it becomes a job and people don't feel good about it. But when people don't feel like it's work, and they do it. So really, again, it's for us, it's focusing on where the strengths are. How can everybody benefit, from the strengths? How can everybody support each other? What makes people tick? And then how I can hold them accountable, to it and provide support in other ways. And really, it's more of not just a business plan, but a life plan. And for them to understand that what we're doing every day is not work. We're working on our life plan. The plan that we have. People call it legacy, people call it building wealth, people call it, leaving, bread and butter family, whatever they call it. It's the life plan. And everything that we do every single day is pieces to that life plan. And we've just kind of switched it so that it's not job, it's not productivity, it's not just money, it's not just transactional. This is our life. In real estate, we all know it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. So
I love that. It's a lifestyle. It is income, life planning, and building wealth, and actually looking at people's entire life. I love it. And I love that, I have teams, I see people doing a little bit of what you're talking about, which is, we're buying investment properties together. We're going in, and doing other revenue sources than just the transactions, which is great. I also loved, I believe ISA teams are a huge opportunity for brokers to increase recruiting. You can get an ISA team for recruiting. You can get an ISA team for setting appointments. converting leads that maybe your agents aren't converting, maybe scrubbing them ahead of time and giving them to your leads, giving those leads as scrubbed leads. ISA teams, big deal. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. Thank you for a great answer. Paul.
We've got a couple of things. Again, I was saying we're just getting back into in-person meetings, and we have had, prior to this, we had very, very successful in-person meetings, and I'm sure they're starting right back up. In fact, the buzz has already started because we just found out we can do them again. But our in-person meetings started with something simple, and it was a discovery that's rather mundane, but it really does make a difference. A lot of offices complain about trying to get their agents together on a regular basis, and what we find is if you feed them, they will come. And that sounds so silly, but the better you feed them, the more that will show up. So when we have office meetings, we get some seriously great food coming, people show up, and that just gets them in the door. But if you don't fill that meeting with great content, you're toast. So we always bring in a couple of guest speakers. And the highlight of these meetings most of the time is actually something we call agent interviews. And we find these really help the middle agents. The middle agents are looking to find out what the great agents are doing, and they're afraid to ask them directly. But if I'm sitting up there interviewing one of these agents, I'm asking these big agents the questions that the medium agents are too afraid to ask. And they become very dynamic sessions, very interactive sessions that are quite fun. But the outside benefit as well is that the agents that are the larger agents that are being interviewed feel so honored and connected when they're giving their advice. It really creates a camaraderie, but it creates a sense of accomplishment and pride in those agents. It's really good. But what we tried a couple of years ago that was even better was we also started bringing in top agents from other companies to our meeting to interview them. And what was funny is they shared everything about their companies to their competition. But it created, again, we got a couple of agents from that, but more than that, it created an outside office community that supported itself. These agents, I was finding that these top agents now from other companies were selling more of our listings now because they knew our people from these interviews. And it was a very, very effective way to create a camaraderie that I didn't expect. And it was very, very good. But getting back into those meetings is going to be a real benefit, and getting people involved once again is really going to be a key for us.
Sherry, can I share one thing to piggyback off what I was saying? I agree with the food, and used to do it a lot, and the food had to get better and better and better, and then it becomes more expensive, and it wasn't helping the people produce. So I kind of got away from that. But we actually do outings, you know, so it's no longer just at the office. We've done Top Golf. You know, the Star in Dallas, really just putting together events where they can bring their spouse, their family, and really get to know each other and feel connected. Of course, it's a business deal, so they're going to talk about business, they're going to talk about production, but making it part of the lifestyle so that it's not like, oh, in the business meeting, oh, another office meeting. This summer, we're doing an event in Panama City, Panama. And everybody's welcome, July 5th, the Scale It Up Summit, .com. And we have, some celebrity people, some influencers, and it's at the Westin Playa Bonita, but it's saying, hey, has anybody taken their vacation this year? And of course they can take this vacation on a beautiful paradise, but then also get fed and learn, and let's call it edutainment. And I think those things are really making a huge difference in just how we meet. And we're meeting because we care. We're meeting because we want you to be happy. We're meeting because we want you to be alive again, and not just we're meeting so I can tell you about what you need to do to be productive in order so I can get paid.
Yes. I love it. And I think, that's a good bookend of, having productive sales meetings that add value. You said the content has to be there. If you've got 60 people at a sales meeting and that's 60 hours of not selling time, with that, every meeting is like time is money. But when I think both of you had such great highlights of making a difference. And I just want to just comment on a couple of things. Having agent panels is fantastic. You know, they love contributing to the team. You're right. There's a sense of accomplishment, pride. They feel like you value them. They're also a different voice. Sometimes, you know, it's better if they're not hearing the sales manager or the broker owner's voice or the person in training or whatever every single time. You know, they're hearing different perspectives from their peers. And you're right, Paul, they're not going to necessarily go ask those people. So setting up an environment of learning and collaboration, and really what you were talking about was building amazing culture. And I love the fact that your competitors are actually bought into your culture because you invited them in. You know, whether you recruited a bunch of them or not, which you did, they are part of your culture. Extended part makes for better co-broking deals and just the whole community. So I loved everything. And, you know, I believe that the sales meeting is really the best opportunity for agents to work together and talk about and announce their new listings, and really in a very thriving, wherever you are is where you are. There's no race. You know, if your goals are here, that's awesome. If your goals are there, that's great too. Everybody has their own why. But the sales meeting is really that center of where you re-recruit people back to your culture, and you're doing a great job, it sounds like. And Delisa, I love company events. I came from you know, Howard Hanna Real Estate. We had corporate trips and sales trips and incentive trips that agents were rewarded for, you know, 4 or 5 days at some awesome place. And, you know, what I loved about it is it wasn't to talk about work. It was to really enjoy and share everyone's successes. So whether you put, you know, a day trip together, I love the Topgolf ideas. You know, sometimes you can have a sales meeting at a new construction site and, you know, promote some new development or product or new thing that you know, someone in your office is selling or promoting, and give them a sneak preview, or take them out to, you know, a place they've never been before to experience really everything that we work, live, and play in these communities where we sell and invest in people selling houses. But I love having a, you know, bringing in the spouses, bringing in people's family. There's no better way to have a family. And you're right, Delisa, it doesn't feel like work when you love the people you work with and you create those cultures, both of you creating really amazing cultures in different ways. But I know our audience is hearing some really great takeaways. I mean, I've gone to spa days, right, where everyone would do a business retreat, and it's not even there's no business. We're just, you know, enjoying what we do and enjoying each other, and really kind of success and celebrating in that. So growing that middle, though, here's what the effect does. More people doing more, and you can build the future office all day long. How many people, and Delisa, I think you said it, you can't be top heavy. You know, I remember years ago at a different company that I worked for, you know, I remember saying to my manager, we're so top heavy. You know, if the top 3 people or 5 people leave, like you're kind of not going to make it, you know. And I went into management for a company that bought that company, and 2 agents left, and it was really rough to rebuild that. It took years. It was like $500,000 to walk out the door, you know. And I didn't leave to go anywhere but in management. But you can't have a top heavy office. And I think if you're a broker out there listening, you can build this middle concept. You can build that group that are doing 2 to 5 or 2 to 8 million, or build them up, or even, you know, bring more people in that are doing 2 to 5. And I think that's just all the way around great stuff. So really great question and answer here. Stefan, do you have anything to add before I move on?
You know, first of all, I definitely concur on the food. Bring food. I'll show up for food myself. But apart from that, you know, I think an obvious approach that we've seen some of our broker partners use that's really paid off, definitely focusing on that middle group. It's the largest group. That's where you have the most headroom to see some gains in productivity. And it's also the agents who are in that group who, on the average, are more open to using new solutions. And, you know, the solutions that we're working with, and, you know, I know outside of the Zavvy platform that you all are working with, the whole reason you're trying these is you believe they're going to increase agent productivity. And it's with that middle group that I think you have the most openness to try new solutions, especially younger agents. This is something we see back in our old brokerage all the time. It's the younger agent comes in, for example, will try a power buyer. I mean, there is no downside to enabling your clients to make offers that are as good as cash. And it's just amazing how many agents are not going to do that. The younger agents have no fear. Why wouldn't they do it? They will get on board, and now they've become activated. I think, activating individual agents who will use these solutions, then talk about them to the rest of the agents in your shop. As was mentioned, they'll become the pitch person for the new tools, for the new programs that generate revenue. And I think you grow it from there, one agent at a time, activate those agents, and then generate the revenues from the middle, just like you said. So that's my comment.
Yeah, and I think, whenever you introduce something, I deal a lot with this adoption of new things. People need to hear things 7 times, 7 different ways before they actually understand it. Sometimes they have contempt prior to investigation. Sometimes they say, oh, I don't know about that, because it's like getting a new iPhone. It's like learning something new can seem, right now, it could seem like I don't have time for that, when in fact, this is exactly what you need to be learning about. So you can offer more options to your consumers, be able to speak of these. I had some agents that they didn't know how to speak about iBuyers and other options for selling a home, and they lost the listing. Stefan, to your point, they don't so it doesn't mean you have to provide all of those. It just means you have to know how to speak about them and talk about, these are the options, and let's talk about the risks and benefits of each one. At the end of the day, it's their decision, right, to decide that. So I want to ask you, what kind of niche markets are you doing anything outside of, and Delisa, you talked about flipping houses and getting into some investment properties for additional revenue resources for other revenue. Anyone getting into title, mortgage, new construction, development, offering other, creating an ISA that was sort of mentioned. I'll start with you, Delisa, if you don't mind.
I was on mute. All of the above.
Okay.
I'm a home builder, so we build affordable housing for low to moderate income families. That has been extremely profitable. Usually it takes less than 90 days, and we can make about 100,000 per house and still provide something, for a community, that we serve. So that's very big. Partnerships with title. I'm a co-owner in a title company, and there is no issue with it. Most big brokerages own a title company or mortgage company. Looking at a mortgage side right now. All of the above, and then also encouraging the agents to kind of do the same. I've flipped a couple homes, renovated, bought, renovated some homes. One thing that we teach the agents is we can be our own clients as well. We usually find properties for the investors, coordinate all the contractors, and then resell the home and make 3%. But it's okay for us to be, our own, we represent ourselves as well. Even when we're doing listing appointments, there's often times where a seller doesn't want to list the house. They're like, I don't want to list the house with a broker. And you're like, okay, but would you sell it to me? Because, and they would rather sell it for less when you're telling them that it can make more. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, if this is the price that you really want, and you won't allow me to list it for $50,000 more, then I'll buy it and go sell it for $50,000 more if that's really what you prefer to do. And a lot of agents think that you need credit or you need cash or you need money, and you really don't. We have all these resources, at our fingertips: hard money lenders, private lenders. And we know owners of banks. We know contractors. We know inspectors. We have all of these resources, and just doing that. So for me, it was just getting the understanding that a realtor or an agent is just a licensed individual to represent someone else. But on our tax returns, we're self-employed. We're business owners, and we have to maximize the business opportunity to create, additional streams of income, and hopefully those streams of income that can continue indefinitely, because if you're just a regular real estate agent or a regular real estate broker, we're unemployed after every transaction.
Right.
And our full income depends on the success of other agents. And we're trying to figure out, I'm bringing them to the water. Why can't I make them drink? They have the information. Why can't I make them apply it? And why am I just focused on one stream of income when I have the keys to so many more? So I would recommend to anybody there, you have your title company, your fee attorneys, you can literally ask them, what if we open up another branch? Would you be opposed to opening up another branch? And they can. You don't even have to send your deals to that branch, hey, a mortgage company, I would like to invest, in the mortgage company and get a percentage, and you guys can open up another branch. There's just so many opportunities that we miss on. And let me just say this, I won't take too much more time, but Sherry, 98% of, wealthy people get so through real estate. They have a real estate portfolio. And yet we are realtors and
Yes.
agents. And many of the agents are the brokest people and the hardest working people, making an average of under $45,000 a year. When we have the keys, the contracts to the resources, and we talked about this being a shrinking market, well, it's not that the transactions aren't there. It's that so many other people that aren't even experienced, knowledgeable, or even licensed are stepping in on a territory when we're supposed to be the experts. So we have wholesalers making more money. We have people who flip 4 houses charging $25,000 a class to teach what they don't know. And we need to, especially as brokers and owners, take the position, play the position, and teach the world about real estate and teach our agents how to be the best realtors that they can be. And I'll just, leave it at that. But we have a job to do. And if we do it well, we are the most essential workers, I think, in the universe.
I agree. And I loved your whole answer. I remember when I got my license like 26 years ago or 27 years ago, my best friend said to me, I sold her and her husband a house. They were just married. And she said, she like grabbed my hand. She's like, you have the best job in the universe. Those were her words. And she said, you help people where they're going to live, raise families, have a life. And she really said that in it. And I've never forgotten that she said that. And I like to teach that to all new agents that I meet, because we live, work, and play. We are at the epicenter. And Paul, you said it at the beginning, every single household during the pandemic was talking about where they live, family, all of what's important in life. And we get to be front row center for that. Delisa, I'm so glad you mentioned that agents don't take the time to become real estate investors when there's a whole world of consistent revenue streams that could be going towards their lives. And I don't need to repeat what you said. It was perfect. And there are opportunities with title and mortgage and other partners within our industry that can also be used that way, and formed relationships that are all okay. And I love that you're building houses. I mean, if you're a broker on this call and you're writing all this down and you're saying, circle the things you think you can go after. Sometimes those developers are not that hard to approach. No one has mentioned acquisitions right now. I remember walking into companies and just, I remember literally walking into companies, introducing myself and saying, what's your exit plan, or what's your strategy for the next 5 to 10 years? We're here, we'd like to form a relationship with you. And those turned into acquisitions of 18 to 25 agents. I mean, these are smaller acquisitions, but where, what out of the box, besides the day in and day out of transactions, can you think of where you can forge a relationship with the builder and have that big sign that has your name on it, and make relationships with other people in this industry, because they're out there. Delisa, you just outlined it perfectly. Paul, what are you doing for going after other streams of revenue?
Well, I guess I got to start this by saying ancillary services are going to be a big key to the future. There's no doubt that there's going to be, and has been recently, a pressure on agents' basic commissions. And the amount of people that are doing the business is going outside of normal ratios, meaning most 90% of the business now is being done by a little over 5% of the agents, and that's going to continue. So we've all got to be careful as broker owners where our money is coming from, and we've got to make sure we've got those ancillary services. So to Delisa's point, you need to set up mortgage company, title, insurance, as much as you can to have that supplemental income, because it's going to be an ebb and flow. There's going to be times when your real estate business is lulling a little bit, but those other businesses have more regular income, and it's going to help pay the bills. But the biggest way to increase top line revenue is what you were talking about earlier, actually. It's looking at your mid-producing agents. Almost every office, and if you look at the history of your office now, those people that are watching, if you look at the history of your office for the last 2 years, your highest profit center is your mid-producing agents. The splits are usually much more favorable for the company with those mid-producing agents. And to Stefan's point, those people want to learn and will do what you tell them, which is amazing. If you tell them to go knock on doors, they actually do it, and they get 4 listings in a month, and everyone says they were lucky or that never worked for me. Well, they do the things you tell them to do, but ultimately that's money that's waiting for you if you focus on them. And that's the meat of your business, is focusing on where the profit is. Just focus a little harder on those people and it makes a big difference. But walking back a little bit to office meetings, one of the key points I found too was bringing someone in via online like Stefan and talking to your agents also brings in an outside expert. And Stefan would be more than happy to do this for any office. It takes 5 or 10 minutes. You're in front of 100 producing agents. Just ask them to come in and tell them what they're doing. And they love that someone else that's from outside is an expert, and you're learning from them. You're connecting them to what's really going on in the business. It just reinforces, to your point, Sherry, it reinforces the value of the brokerage and the value of the broker owner and the value of the managers. But those are the kind of things that I think really produce pure income to the bottom line of the office, is taking care of that mid-range people along with looking at ancillary services. And to Delisa's point about rehabbing houses, I've been doing that for 40 years, and I just learned a couple of quick tricks that aren't that hard to figure out. Number one is you make your money when you buy it, not when you sell it. You have to buy it right. People get lost in what they're going to be worth when they fix them up. If you don't buy them right, that's when people lose money. So it's very important to buy it at the right price. Don't fall in love with the house, fall in love with the numbers. But the second things I found is speed is money. You need to get a crew, no matter how much you pay them, you need to get a crew that get these done quickly. My average rehab takes about 3 to 4 weeks. And sometimes we're doing the entire house in 3 to 4 weeks, and I pay my guys whatever it takes. But my profit's so high when I do that because I don't have any expense other than doing them. There's no carrying cost. It's just boom, boom, done in and out, and I know what the market's doing in that 4 weeks. The dilemma with taking 6 months to do a rehab is I know what the market's doing now. I don't know what it's going to be doing in 6 months. So that becomes a game of musical chairs. But if I'm able to flip houses in 30 days, make them look great, and get them back on the market in the same market I was in, I'm going to win. So there's all kinds of little tricks that can help not only investors work, but also give your agents opportunities to make outside money. I think it's a big key. And even bringing in a flipping expert, same thing, at your office meeting, and let them talk for 10 minutes. They love to talk just as much as the agents do. Again, bring those outside sources in as much as you can, because it just adds incredible value to who you are and what your company does.
And
Awesome. Yeah,
sure.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I know whenever I hear webinars and information and people are telling you, what you can do, and you're buried right now, you're thinking, how can I do anything else? One thing is really partnering with the right people. There's a book that says, find out, ask who, not how, because if you partner with someone like Paul, I'm sure he has his GC. The GC does the work. If you partner with a title company, there's already somebody who's an escrow agent or an attorney, and they're running the title company, so you don't have to know all of these things. You just partner with the right people and division of labor, and then also a cut of the profits. So it is really, really possible to do. And I just kind of wanted to say that when you partner with the right people, for any small brokers, I would definitely say every single broker is in the same situation that's in that middle range. You know, sign a contract that says, I won't take your agents, you won't take ours, but let's come together. And I promise you, if they come to me, you're getting paid, you know, or they're not coming to me, I just won't accept them. Whatever it is that makes you feel, you know, comfortable, but pair up and have the speaker speak to not just your 30 agents and this person's 20 agents, but as a group, you know, do training, bring in one of the top trainers where everybody just pays a few bucks as a group. So you don't have to do this by yourself, because ultimately you want your time and your freedom and your lifestyle back. And there's ways to get it. That's all I wanted to say. You know, you don't have to work harder, just work smarter.
Delisa also brought up something else that's important, I think, and it's something that we all could get better at, and that's just setting goals. Helping your agents set goals, make them realize that you have a vested interest in how they do. And when we set our agents' goals, what we really do is create a set of habits that they want to be held accountable to. So ultimately, we go through how much they want to make, how many transactions they want to do, and we boil it down to a simple process. The bottom line is, how many people do you have to talk to every day? And it's a form that we use that probably got 10 different factors in, but it maybe they have to contact 5 people a day. So my job as a broker owner is just to make sure that they're contacting 5 people a day. But what gets fun is that as well as an excellent recruiting tool to sit down with your potential recruits and set goals with them. So you might take them out to lunch on an unassuming meeting. We're just going to talk about blah, blah, blah. But sit down and say, what do you want to do next year? How many transactions do you want to do? How do you do this year? When you start getting actively involved, not only in their goals, but more importantly, their dreams, now you're creating value for someone that doesn't even work for you yet. And what you're really doing is becoming their broker before you're their broker.
I love it. You know, success breeds more success.
Absolutely.
And when you can take somebody and add the value on a recruiting call like that, that's not even a recruiting call, you know, Paul, I'm not trying to recruit you. However, I've done some numbers and I think you're leaving money on the table. If you come here and work with me, we will grow your business by 12 or 20 units. Like, we need to really look at this, and I want to show you what we can do for you, both with our training, our tools, all of that we have here. You add value or you don't add value. I mean, this is what I tell people all the time. We're either adding value or we're just watching people do what they do. And yes, of course, they're at your brokerage. But if you're not adding value, just like the buyers and sellers, that if we're not adding value to them, they're going to go somewhere else. That's why people leave brokerages. You know, at the end of the day, I have to look at my entire partnership and hopefully how you want this. I mean, I used to have 750 agents in my territory and 13 offices. And if I wasn't adding value to their experience, they were going to go somewhere else, you know, and if they can't take the things with them because they're so fabulous and they're not transferable, there it is. You can monetize the value of what you give these people, and you can actually help them grow, whether it is, you know, I like to ask people, how's the boat coming? How's the trip coming? How's the addition on your house? How's the second home? You know, those are their goals they're talking about, and you can tie it right back to that lifestyle, Delisa, that you were talking about. So real quick, because we're coming short on time here, in a nutshell, in a quick answer, what should brokers stop doing and then start doing, okay, to be able to increase their revenue really for this quarter, this month, next quarter, for the rest of the year? You know, I guess I'll have Delisa, you go first. Stop doing and start doing.
Stop doing and start doing. Stop doing the same old stuff that doesn't work. Focus on the stuff that does work. I think that we really need to not just recruit hoping that the successful people rise to the top, the cream rises to the top, but really helping the people that we recruit to know the business, develop their skills, and be able to be more productive. I think we, you know, often we have our meetings, we do what we do, but we're not really spending that time to fine tune the issues that they're having that's stopping them from being successful. What that could look like is attending, being present when they're making their calls, so that we can help them. If you're talking to the same people and you're not getting any deals, then over time people will stop trying to talk to the people. But maybe if somebody was sitting side by side to hear them, during a prospecting school, if they were having problems converting, having someone offering a support where somebody can convert. I think the technology that we have, develop those systems and help train them on them so that they can use them and apply them versus just saying, hey, here's a program, really, really educating them and developing them and providing the resources that they signed up and believe that they're supposed to get. Everybody joins a brokerage, and no matter who comes to our team that already had their license or who comes to the brokerage, what they say. Well, my last brokerage did not do this. And in your head, you're thinking, well, sweetie, that's not really their job. That's not their job to do the things that you really expect. But then when you think about it, it is our job. We just don't do it. So I think we really need to develop systems to maximize that. I think brokers, sorry, let me speed this up, but we also need to monetize our own businesses, put courses together, or speakers together, actually have a system, where when a new agent comes, this is the speaker week 1, this is the speaker week 2, this is the assignments week 1, this is the business plan week 5, whatever it is. We really need to put our business on paper, hire a CFO so that we know our numbers, who's profitable, who's not. We really just need to run our business like a business and not just be, the agents don't just need to be realtors, they need to be business owners, and we don't need to just be brokers, we need to be CEOs and operate our organization as such.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It was great. Paul, your advice for stop doing, start doing.
A couple of quick things. First off, remember that the first 2 hours of your business day are by far the most important. That's where the gold is made. What happens is the urgent gets in the way of the important. If you don't focus and write down what's important first and do it first in your day, it will not get done. And for your agents to do that, you've got to practice that. It's just the way life works. And we talk about being proactive, and I kind of reverse it around, saying you've got to be an active pro. You've got to get active in your agents' minds. The only way to do that is through contact. Emails don't work. It just doesn't work. You have to call them. You have to write them handwritten personal notes all the time. Not big, long ones. Just, hey, Bill, great sale on Main Street. I'm really proud of you. That means a ton to Bill. And it takes 3 seconds to do. It's easy to do. The problem is it's easier not to do. But that's the important stuff. We as humans, we do this all the time, but you've got to make sure the important is getting done or the urgent will get in the way. And again, if you start doing that, your agent will start doing that, but it's an important conversation we have with them. But making those calls to your agent every day in the first 2 hours of the day to just say hello is huge. And just kind of plug in with them, see what's going on. It makes a big, big difference. Yes. Stop doing it is something that's more difficult, and it's kind of opposite of what we're talking about. But at times you've got to stop focusing on the money and start focusing on the person. We want to do business, but these people aren't going to stay with us unless they like us. And the way to be liked is conversation. And the way for someone, and there was a great study that read about this, the way for people to really like you is ask questions. When you're calling your agent, don't just talk. It's not your job to talk. Ask them questions to get them talking. That creates the bond. That creates the difference, and that's what a relationship is all about. They really don't care what you have to say. They care what they have to say.
Such good stuff, both of you. I want to comment, there's a difference between coaching and training. Big difference. Training is learn this. This is, learning something. Coaching is actually doing it with them. As you mentioned, sitting with them, watching them make their calls, adjusting. You know, when I get a golf lesson and I get a couple of adjustments, it's not a whole new game for me. It's just a couple of adjustments and I hit a better ball. You know, we can, what I love about coaching is it's not making people great. It's bringing out the greatness that they already have inside of them and they just don't know it. And you infuse that confidence and you get people doing door knocking, you get other people doing door knocking, and the whole world is just so much more fun and so rewarding to watch all of that happen. But I wanted to make those two comments, and I love turning proactive into being an active pro. Paul, I'm going to quote you and use that one. That is really, really good stuff right there. Stefan, your comments, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. A couple quick things. So on the stop doing, this is a little bit general, but I think for many brokers, actually all of us really, I think we should consider our mindset and where we have a negative mentality about new solutions, you know, that they are quote bad. We ought to question that and be more open that these are actually opportunities that we can co-opt to do more business. That's definitely what we see. Obviously, you got to be discerning. You're not going to chase every shiny object. Certainly wouldn't recommend that. But you got to be a little bit smart and see what's working in the marketplace. And that brings me to what you really ought to be doing. And this is super simple. I think everybody, if you're not already doing it, you want to be finding those power buyer solutions. There's just no reason to not be enabling your buyer clients to make offers that are as good as cash, to be enabling sellers to buy first and then sell. You're going to help out first-time buyers. That's a massive problem in the marketplace. I'm sure we'd all agree. And also you're going to create transactions by, you know, solving that chicken and the egg problem of helping people buy the new house before they've sold. You're just going to do a ton more business with power buyers. So find a way to do that. And if you want some ideas, talk to me. I'll be happy to tell you what I know.
I love it. I love it. And you know, we've covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. I'm just double checking on to see if we have any questions that I need to address. I think most of them got covered. Yes. And you know, the takeaways too for me are that there are other revenue streams. There are other solutions to offer your agents to help them grow their business, to compete at a higher level, to actually have work-life balance, right? And figure that they can grow to whatever extent they want to, both in life and in financial freedom. I think there were just so many awesome things today. And I can't wait to rewatch this because I know I'm going to take away even more just by listening again to each of you. You had so many really powerful things to say. Delisa, Paul, thank you so much for sharing your talent, your passion for real estate, what you're doing, and giving your time, really time and talent today to all of our listeners that were lucky enough to hear what you had to say. And I'm really excited because we have, I think, Stefan, you're going to tell us about a free giveaway that you have. So thank you again to Zabby, who is our sponsor. And I've done a few webinars with your team before. Love your product. Here's what I'm going to say. Check this out. I think there's a free giveaway here. I'm going to go to the next slide. Can you tell us what they get here today?
Yeah, so the promotion for today is 50% off your setup fee if you sign up for Zabby after this webinar. The setup fee is normally $2,500. That's a one-time fee. It's a crazy good deal, but now it's even better. We'll give you 50% off for getting started on the Zabby platform. We've had conversations with many of the participants on this call. This could be a great time to check in and you know, pull the trigger on Zabby, or at least learning a little bit more and figuring out if it's a good fit for your company. So that's the deal. Hope you'll take us up on it.
Awesome. Just scan that. You'll also be able to get this giveaway in the email that is sent out by RISMedia after this broadcast with the link to watch the replay. This scan will also be in there. I'm pretty sure. I'll check with Peter, but that's how we usually do that. And then Sherry Johnson Coaching. I'm excited because we are offering a demo for you on how to incorporate on-demand Sherry Johnson Academy, our courses, our custom LMS platform, which is a learning management system that comes with content on it. It also comes with the ability to co-brand your company. It comes with live coaching. It comes with recorded replays over 140 courses that I have personally written and developed over the last 26 years that help you double, triple, grow your production, grow your income, grow your revenue. And you can take advantage of this by getting a 30-minute free demo with us to learn about this platform. And just go over to my website at sherryjohnson.com/strategy. And I'd love to have a chat with you and give you all of the particulars on how we are increasing revenue by 500,000 to $1 million plus in company dollar with the system here, and how we can, be an online resource for you. A lot of times, you don't have the training department yet, and a lot of companies look to us to do that for them and sub it out, and we become that sales manager / training department. Again, all content, you can upload your own content. We give you content. It's really great. So check out both of these free giveaways from Stefan and myself. And again, this video of the webinar will be uploaded, and RISMedia will be sending out a link later today or even tomorrow. Look for that. And, I just want to, again, thank everybody for your contribution today. Paul, Delisa, Stefan, you guys have been amazing. I'm so glad I got to know you and listen to all of your, secrets for growing companies, growing your company, but also growing agents and making a difference. Stefan, thank you again to Zavi, our sponsor, and thank you to RISMedia and the team at RISMedia, John Featherston, and all of the amazing people at really the #1 resource in media and real estate for 45 years. We love you guys. And we'll see all of you on our next RISMedia webinar, and we'll take it from here. And thank you, everybody. Again, go make it happen. Have a great week. And remember, I'm Sherry Johnson. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.